Welcome back to Coors Field. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh along the way. We are just about set for Game 2. We're told a 4:15 first pitch, Arizona time, 5:15 here in Denver for Game 2 of this doubleheader. And the Diamondback debut of Robbie Ray. There he is, the 23-year-old left-hander acquired in the offseason from the Tigers in the Didi Gregorius deal. And here's Robbie Ray, his 10th career big league appearance, his 7th start. He did see some action for the Tigers last year. Appeared in 9 games with Detroit, 6 of them starts. His first appearances in the big leagues. He was only 22 last year, and the consensus was that he was perhaps a rush to the big leagues just a bit for a Tiger team looking for some starting pitching. He went 1-4, the ERA over 8. He has put up very impressive strikeout totals at AAA Reno in 5 starts for Phil Nevin with the Aces down there. 35 strikeouts, in fact, in 24 2/3 innings. He has struck out at least 8 in each of his last 3 starts. A 1-3 record, the ERA just over 4 at Reno. But, Bob, the issue with Robbie Ray, as it always has been the command. He is averaging nearly 6 walks for every 9 innings pitched with the Aces so far this year.
Yeah, obviously it could be an issue here at Coors Field where you have to limit the traffic on the bases. Figure you're going to give up some extra base hits, maybe even a home run, but you just cannot put batters on base ahead of those long balls, and those balls hit into the gap. So Robbie Ray's going to have to find that strike zone, find it early.
Well, hopefully the Diamondbacks can continue their offensive resurgence here after a quiet weekend at Dodger Stadium. 13 runs and 18 hits in Game 1, and they go for the doubleheader sweep. When we come back, Todd Walsh has more from Coors Field after this. You're watching Diamondbacks baseball here on Fox Sports Arizona. More from Denver coming up. To you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich.
And we move ever closer to first pitch for Game 2 of this doubleheader here at Coors Field in Denver. I'm Todd Walsh back here inside the Arizona Diamondbacks dugout. Last time, prior to Game 1, we told you how some of the Diamondbacks were avoiding cabin fever, if you will, with back-to-back rainouts by the onset of bottle cap baseball. Well, there's more to the story. You must understand that rain delays are also made for storytelling. Mark Gray stood in this dugout yesterday and told tales for about 35 minutes, everybody laughing. Tears were falling. Even the manager, Chip Hale, got into it as he told us a great story about a rain delay one night in Double-A in Florida.
This is when I was playing Double-A in 1988 in Orlando, Florida. We went to Jacksonville, and we knew it was supposed to rain pretty much all night, but they said, hey, we're going to wait as long as it takes, because at that time it was called the San Diego Chicken is here, and they had, 8,000 people at the game. So we waited, and they basically brought, ton of dirt in just to put in the field, and it still was underwater. And we played a game, and it probably started about 11 o'clock, and I don't know how many guys, they put us into play because they didn't want any of the superstars to get hurt.
Well, as Tom Petty said, the waiting is the hardest part. It was interesting to hear you talk to these guys that maybe the guys that have decent minor league time are the guys that can handle this, right?
Yeah, you learn how to handle it, whether it's playing cards, reading a book, but they do their preparation. It's so good indoors now with the cages and the training rooms and the weight rooms. They can physically get ready to go and go out and be ready to play. It's just the mental part of it.
So there you have it, Chip Hale telling a story about the chicken when he was the San Diego Chicken. That's how long ago that story was. By the way, as we go to a break, you know what the offense did in Game 1? Remember the bottle cap baseball thing? A couple of those guys that have been playing it for the last couple of days, like the commissioner and the founder of the league, Cliff Pennington, Chris Owings, well, they're playing in Game 2. David Peralta, he was playing it. Just a theory here. We'll see how we advance that theory when we come back to the first pitch of Game 2 with Steve and Bob in a moment.
Coors Field, and we are set for Game 2 of this doubleheader. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh, glad you're with us. A full day of D-backs baseball here on Fox Sports Arizona. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Rockies here in Game 2, 24-year-old right-hander Jordan Lyles facing the Diamondbacks for the second time in a week. He is 2-2 in 5 starts, 4.25 ERA. He's gone at least 6 full innings in 4 of his 5 starts this year.
Stop me if you've heard this before about a Rockies pitcher, but it does have occasional problems with the strike zone. You see more walks than strikeouts in his 29 2/3 innings of work.
Ender Inciarte playing right field in game 2 and leading off. Looks at strike 1. Ender at .337 on the year. Coming off a 4-hit game in game 1. 3 singles, a double. He scored twice, had 2 RBIs. This is in foul territory. Arenado has it. And there's one away here in game 2. This is the lineup for game 2 for Chip Hale's Arizona Diamondbacks.
We've seen Ender Inciarte at the top. He'll be in right field for game 2. David Peralta in left. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. A.J. Pollock, see what he did in game 1 as a cleanup hitter. Aaron Hill at third base. Chris Owings at second base. Tuffy Gosewish doing the catching. Clint Pennington at short. And the left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound for the D-backs.
Ball 1 to David Peralta. David in there at .240 and 3 homers in the year. Bill Miller, the crew chief, is our plate umpire. He had the first game off. When you're the crew chief, I guess you get to take one of the games off. So he is back there behind the plate in game 2. Peralta down, a ball and 2 strikes.
Bill Miller almost ejected me from a ball game before we even exchanged lineup cards.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Never.
No.
Not you.
It was in Seattle, and we were making our way to home plate for the meeting with the managers, going over the ground rules and so forth and so on. Bill just happened to very casually say, got a memo from the league office today. They told us to start searching for strikes. I said, wait a minute. It's either a strike or it's not a strike. What do you mean searching for strikes? Well, they want us to call more strikes. So, borderline pitches, we're probably going to go the way of the pitcher.
Well, at least he gave you the heads up.
Well, yeah, that was nice of him, but searching for strikes? Jeez.
So you just objected to the word searching?
Yeah.
All right. And that was it for you?
No, I didn't get ejected, but I was close. Right. I was close. We got a little heated there.
Good restraint on your part. Peralta strikes out.
For a change.
Well, the D-backs just hit Jordan Lyles pretty hard in his previous start. That was a week ago today, in fact, at Chase Field. He gave up 7 runs, 6 earned on 8 hits. He went 5 innings. He also walked 5 in that ball game. So keep that in mind after we saw Tyler Matzik walk 6 in 2+ innings in game 1 today. Here's Goldie. Goldie, a 4 strikeout game in game 1. First time that's happened in nearly 2 years. 337 and 6 home runs for Goldie. He's been taking those big cuts all day long. Quickly, it's 0-2. That start against the Diamondbacks last week was the only start this season in which Jordan Lyles didn't go at least 6 innings. He's been pretty good for them. The numbers in that start April 29th, a week ago today at Chase Field. 5 walks in 5 innings. 2-2 to Goldie. A.J. Pollock, who hit cleanup for the first time in his career in game 1, back in the 4-hole for game 2. So Goldie 0 for 5, 4 strikeouts. He did have a walk that snapped a 6-game hitting streak. And he strikes out in his first at bat in game 2, his 5th strikeout today. A 1-2-3 first for Lyles. We are underway game 2. The Diamondback debut of Robbie Ray is next. 23-year-old left-hander Robbie Ray, the pride of Brentwood, Tennessee, making his D-backs debut. Here's bullpen coach Mel Stottlemyre Jr.
Well, the one thing that we know about Robbie Ray is he's got plus stuff, and we've all, as an organization, kind of waited for things to materialize a little bit and shape up to where it becomes a little more pitchable. I know he's had some good games down in AAA, and the one thing that we do like, he's got stuff. He's capable of striking guys out, and that's a good thing.
And he is your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks. Just his 10th career big league appearance and his 7th major league start. Charlie Blackmon in the leadoff spot is up there with a 1-1 count. Robbie Ray, 5 starts for Phil Nevin this season at AAA Reno. He has led all AAA pitchers with 35 strikeouts in 24 2/3 innings. And the ERA just over 4, a 1-3 record so far for the Aces. 96 is in there. He throws hard. Most lefties, Bob, are like lower 90s generally. Robbie Ray's more mid 90s, right?
Yeah, he throws a lot harder than most lefties in professional baseball right now. Most lefties, you call them thumbers. They try to nibble at the corners and get some movement. Robbie Ray just rears back and lets it go mid 90s. Has a real good straight changeup, throws a curve and a slider to go along with the fastball changeup.
He has struck out at least 8 in each of his last 3 starts at Reno. 96, 96, 95 there, misses, and it's full. The issue with Robbie, as it always has been throughout his minor league development, is command. He is averaging nearly 6 walks for every 9 innings pitched with Reno this year. And he's gone full on the first hitter he faces here tonight, Charlie Blackmon. Like he broke his bat, a little pop up behind the bag, and Pennington has it for the first out. This is the lineup for Walt Weiss's Colorado Rockies here in game 2.
A couple of changes down at the bottom of the batting order. We've seen Blackmon at the top. He'll be in right field. DJ LeMahieu at second base. Tulo at shortstop. Nolan Arenado at third. Justin Morneau, 3 for 5 with a homer in game 1. He'll be at first base. Michael McHenry doing the catching in game 2. Drew Stubbs in center. Rafael Inoa in left, and Jordan Lyles, the right-hander, on the mound.
Troy Tulowitzki is on deck. He's batting third again. DJ LeMahieu moves up. LeMahieu is batting 8th in game 1. He's in the 2-hole here. At 386 on the year, one of the leading hitters in the National League. LeMahieu 1 for 4 with a single and a pair of strikeouts in game 1. Consistent 96 from Robbie Ray. It's a ball and a strike. And there is Tulo on deck. DJ LeMahieu, he was at 392 going into game 1. He's at 386 right now, behind only D. Gordon, second in the league in hitting. A ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, we talked about the weapons available to Robbie Ray out there today. 4-seam fastball in the mid-90s. There's really good straight changeup. He'll throw about 22% of the time. Has both a curve and a slider. You won't see a lot of breaking pitches from Robbie Ray.
That has been the key to his development, that dependable breaking ball, and he gets a strikeout of LeMahieu for the second out here in the first. He's had some encouraging results both with that slider and the curveball. They're a work in progress as he tries to pick up that third pitch.
That looked like a backdoor slider right there after speeding up the bat of DJ LeMahieu with a couple of fastballs at 96. He threw that 83-mile-an-hour slider to get a swinging strike 3.
Tulowitzki hitless in the first game this afternoon. He had 4 hits, including a pair of doubles in the D-backs Rockies series at Chase Field last week. 289 on the year with 2 home runs. Robbie Ray, 95, 96. That one's in there for a strike. It's even 1-1. Got those Barney batting gloves on.
Stole those from Dinger.
They are the purplest batting gloves you will ever see. Robbie Ray, 97. He gets Tulowitzki to elevate and chase. 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 first. In his D-backs debut. No score so far in game 2 as we head to the second inning. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Aaron Hill coming up. He homered back in game 1. Second inning underway. First pitch swinging to lead off the inning is A.J. Pollock. Lines it right to Charlie Blackmon in right field. 1 pitch, 1 out in the second for Jordan Lyles. That's the first time all day the Rockies have kept A.J. Pollock off base. He was up 6 times in game 1 and reached base all 6 times. A.J. had 3 walks, 2 doubles, reached on an error. And he scored 4 runs in the Diamondbacks' 13-7 win in game 1. Here's Aaron Hill, who homered earlier today. His second of the year. And Aaron had a 4-hit day in game 1. This is along the right field line, headed for the corner. Blackmon runs it down. Quickly 2 outs in the Arizona second.
That Aaron Hill home run in the first game, a 3-run bomb to left field. One of the very few hittable fastballs that he's had on the inside part of the plate. Most teams work him away. If they come in, it's usually off the plate inside, but he took advantage of a mistake and hit it out of here to left field in game 1.
Aaron, 3 singles and a homer. He drove in 4 in game 1. Here's Chris Owings. Jordan Lyles in there firing strikes. CO at 205 on the year, a homer and 7 RBIs. Getting the start at second base in game 2. Chris at 205 for the year did not have a hit in the Dodgers series over the weekend. He has always hit very well in this ballpark. A dozen games at Coors Field, hitting better than .360 here, including a pair of homers. That's in the seats.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more like they did in the first game today, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Now I got a question for you.
Okay.
When we sweep and we score more than 5 runs in game 2, do you get the 6-pack of tacos?
Well, that sounds reasonable to me.
I had a feeling you might go for that. Lyles gets his 3rd strikeout of the ball game. No score, underway in game 2. Diamondbacks and Padres at Chase Field. You'll get to spend quality family time at the ball game, and she'll get to take home this special Mother's Day ladies' tea courtesy of Fry's Food Stores. You can get your tickets right now at dbacks.com, and we'll see you and Mom out at the ballpark on Sunday for the series finale against the Padres. Robbie Ray, a 15-pitch first inning, 10 strikes. He struck out 2 of the 3 he faced. And Nolan Arenado, the cleanup man, in there to lead off the Colorado second at 3:08 on the year with 6 homers. Belted to third. Aaron Hill knocks it down and recovers nicely for the first out here in the second.
Hit like a bullet down there to Aaron Hill. That's why they call it the hot corner. Sometimes all you can do is knock it down, pick it up, and throw him out. Plenty of time to get Arenado. That ball was hit extremely hard.
And the shift is on for the left-hand hitting Justin Morneau. 3 for 5 in game 1, including a home run and a double. He drove in 2. He's in there at .291 on the year. The homer was his 3rd of the season. There's strike 1. So Cliff Pennington all by himself in the shortstop spot, halfway between the bags at second and third. And 3 infielders on the right-hand side. This was Morneau in game 1 off Josh Colmenter to lead off the 5th.
Got a hanging breaking ball up there about letter high, or as pitching coaches call it, fence high. Hit that out here to straightaway center field.
1-2 now. Robbie Ray, 20 pitches so far, 13 strikes, consistent mid to upper 90s. 96 misses there. It's even 2-2. Robbie Ray sent to the minor leagues just after the final spring training game of the year. He's hit as high as 97 so far today. He had been in consideration, Robbie Ray, for a final bullpen spot that wound up going to Andrew Chafin. They decided they needed some length there, but they didn't really want to mess with Robbie Ray. In terms of his role, Tony La Russa said at the time the Diamondbacks were excited about Ray being a top of the rotation guy. He's got that kind of stuff. And so they thought it would be better to go to Reno and just start. Morneau, kind of a check swing number that goes down the left field line. He hits away from the shift, and he's got a double, his 6th of the year.
I'm not sure if that was on purpose or accidental on the part of
tell,
Justin Morneau. Yeah, just kind of a check swing, but with that exaggerated pull shift, anything hit to the left side is going to be an issue. Yeah, that's almost like a swinging bunt to the left side of the field. Morneau thinking double all the way out of the box and easily makes it in there ahead of the throw from David Peralta.
Well, that's his 3rd extra base hit today, a homer and a double in game 1. Rockies have a 1-out base runner in scoring position for the catcher, Michael McHenry. Tony La Russa and the Diamondbacks in the end decided they wanted to keep Robbie Ray in that starter's role, even if it meant beginning the season in the minor leagues. And from the stuff we've seen so far, you can tell why. He has been electric. 0-1 on McHenry. Andrew Chafin, who got that final bullpen spot and has done an outstanding job so far. He can get lefties out. He can give you length back there, multiple innings. Ray's quickly ahead of McHenry 0-2.
It looks like the game plan for Robbie Ray is going to be a lot of fastballs first time through this Rockies order. I can only count a couple of breaking pitches that he's thrown so far in the first inning plus here in the ball game, just relying on that mid-90s fastball.
He's got an excellent changeup as well as the 2 breaking balls he's been working on. Misses there as a ball and 2 strikes. Dave Stewart says this is a guy with swing and miss stuff. We've certainly seen that, and the changeup is a part of that. He's got a ball that has a little bit of sink to it and should play at this level. Right to Hill at third. Morneau scampers back to the bag, and that's the 2nd out.
Like that may have been a slider to Michael McHenry, and he squared it up, but fortunately for the D-backs, it's right at Aaron Hill down there at third base.
That brings up Drew Stubbs, who homered in game one. Just his second hit this year. He's got 2 hits, both homers. So be careful here with 2 outs and Morneau at second. '94 misses away. It's 1-0. 077 on the year with a pair of homers. And this is a guy that strikes out at near record levels. This was Drew Stubbs in game one in the 8th inning. And this was actually the last batter that Josh Colmenter faced in the ballgame. Ray behind 2 balls and no strikes. That's in there, 85.
That's a straight changeup at 85. What about a different look from the first game starter for the D-backs? Josh Colmenter
that's his fastball.
Rarely hits 85 with his fastball.
Drop that one in there right at the knees. Then comes in at 94 for a strike, and he's back even 2-2. You can see how effective that fastball changeup combo can be when you can throw 96, 97, and then locate with that changeup low to mid 80s. Stubbs stays alive. It's still 2-2. This is away, and it's full 3-2. Rafael Inoa is on deck, the 8th place hitter for the Rockies.
Just get it close to the strike zone here. Stubbs has only drawn 1 base on balls this season. As you mentioned, he loves to hack.
That's in the seats. Drew Stubbs got off to a miserable start. He struck out 25 times in 50 at-bats in spring training. And started the year 1 for 25 with 16 strikeouts going into the ball game earlier today. He homered and was hit by a pitch in his 2 at-bats. Another 3-2 from Robbie Ray. On the ground is short. Pennington is there to collect it near the second base bag. A nice backhand scoop by Goldie. And Robbie Ray strands that 1-out double. 3rd inning coming up. No score at Coors Field. Get out to a D-backs game and live it. It's for the thrill of the game. Pepsi, live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tuffy Gozawish leads off the D-backs third against Jordan Lyles, who so far has retired all 6 batters he's faced, 3 by strikeout. And he's ahead of Tuffy 0-1. Tuffy at 176 on the year. He reached base safely in his first 11 games to start the season, but he's stuck in a 3 for 25 right now.
Looking for that first extra base hit on the season as well. It'd be as good a time as any, game 2 of a double dip.
He was kind enough to join us on our D-backs podcast. Brand new episode 18 came out yesterday. You can listen to that on iTunes and at dbacks.com. And a long interview with Tuffy, and he shoots it right by Morneau at first base. Leadoff single in the third for Tuffy. He told us he feels like he's swinging the bat real well right now. Has hit some atom balls, hit this one just by Morneau at first.
Yeah, just tomahawks that high pitch out over the plate, gets it by the glove side of Justin Morneau on out into right field. Not quite enough for a double, but we're getting closer.
Leadoff man aboard for Cliff Pennington. The switch hitter batting left-handed against the right-hand Lyles. Pennington in there at 190 on the year.
There you go.
Cliff 4 for 21 to open the year. He's also walked 6 times already this season. His on-base percentage is .370.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
The 1-1 to Pennington. Lyles targeted by the Rockies as a young guy with heavy sink who could succeed in this ballpark, and for the most part he's done pretty well here. Even dating back to his days with Houston, 13 starts at Coors Field, a 6-1 record in this ballpark, and the ERA right near 4.5. In 75 innings of work at Coors Field, he's given up 7 home runs. I can't decide if that's good or bad.
Yeah,
it's really hard to tell. It's not terrible, I know that, considering this ballpark. Former first-round pick of the Houston Astros. 2-2 to Pennington. Gozawish the runner at first. Cliff squares to bunt. Gets down a good one. Lyles has no play, and Pennington has a bunt single. Nice job there by Cliff Pennington.
they gave him so much room, he thought it was a higher percentage play to try to bunt his way on. You see where Arenado is over at the shortstop position. He just jogs over to cover third. He has no play, and by the time Lyles gets to it, Penny's on at first base.
And now Arenado will come in at third as the pitcher Robbie Ray steps up. Gozawish is at second, Pennington at first. 30 pitches for Jordan Lyles, 20 for strikes. Robbie Ray came up in the Nationals and Tigers system, so he's had mixed results as an offensive player.
And dangerous play for Tuffy down there at second. We've seen it happen already once this year. That batter bunts through the ball in a first and second sacrifice situation. You are out there in no man's land at second base.
First time through the Diamondbacks lineup, 7 first pitch strikes for Jordan Lyles. The 0-1 to Ray, corners crash. That one's way outside. McHenry really had to get behind that right-hand batter's box to make sure that didn't get behind him.
Andy Green had to pull Robbie Ray aside before the ball game today just to make sure he knew the signs and what the indicator was, what the off sign is.
Good start to this inning by the lower third of the Diamondbacks order. Singles by Gozawish and Pennington. The 1-1 to Ray is ball 2. Robbie really worked on his beard while he was at Reno. That's big league. Must be the altitude. Something.
Could be thin air.
Molecules. 2-2.
We'll see if they turn Robbie Ray loose here with a 2-strike count. I would anticipate he's still going to be bunting, but we'll see how Chip chooses to play it.
He shows bunt here. Morneau in front of the runner at first. That one is fouled off, and Ray strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Lyles. Once again, we saw Josh Colmenter struggle to get a bunt down in game 1, and Robbie Ray cannot advance the runners here in game 2.
Yeah, ricochets around, hits just about everybody that was at the home plate area as that pitch was being thrown.
So 1 away now. It's Ender Inciarte, the leadoff man. A 4-hit day in game 1 for Ender. 3 singles and a double. He scored twice and had 2 RBIs. Popped up in his first at bat in game 2. Bouncer to second. LeMahieu. Too low. They roll it. The Coors Shield defensive infield turns a double play. Diamondbacks get 2 singles to lead off the inning. Cannot get a run across. Still no score at Coors.
It was interesting, Stephen Bob, what he said about his stuff in game 1. As I'm sure you saw, he struggled admittedly with his breaking ball. That's where most of the damage was done. He was really happy with what he could do with his fastball, spotting his fastball. But I did ask him, hey, if you had any advice for Robbie Ray, what would it be? And he said, you know, you just got to stay to your stuff. You can not let this team get in your head. You got to be committed to what you do and what you do best. It sounds easier said than done, but that's from the guy that got it done in game 1.
Well, John, Robbie Ray certainly doing that here as Rafael Inoa leads off the Rockies' third, just firing fastballs in there for strikes.
Ooh. Boy, that one got over in that first base dugout in a hurry.
Well, that's what we're playing under. The lights are on here. It is 5:51 local time. And there is rain in the forecast. So far, so good. We were told 100% chance of rain about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we made it through that, so fingers crossed. You know, up there battling, just trying to get a piece to stay alive. This was the previous foul right at the Rocky dugout. Look out!
Out.
Tough, he can't quite hang on to that one. Inoa stays alive at 0-2.
Yeah, you heard Josh Colmentor tell Todd about having trouble with his breaking ball, which is certainly not unusual for any pitcher in this ballpark to get your curve or your slider to take the break. But that's where Robbie Ray and Josh Colmentor have a little bit of an advantage. That good straight changeup. That plays in any conditions, sea level or up here at Mile High. You might be able to work your way through an entire ball game just with a fastball changeup combination, maybe show a breaking ball in the dirt just to plant the seed in the Rockies hitters' minds, but go after them with fastballs and changeups.
You can see that purple line at the top of your screen, that purple row of seats all around the ballpark here. That is a Mile High. Right in the upper deck of Coors Field, all around the ballpark. Another 0-2 to Rafael Linoa. You mentioned the changeup. The Rockies are all in on that here for their pitchers. The coaches and the front office have emphasized the need for all pitchers in the Rockies organization to have very good changeups to be successful. And they want everybody to throw that pitch and throw it well. Ninth pitch of the at-bat coming up. That means for Rockies pitchers, the changeup takes priority over the curveball or the slider. And Steve Foster, who's the new pitching coach here, says it's not that slider and curves can't be thrown at altitude here in Denver, because they can. As Linoa gets this one out to the gap in left center field, but Peralta tracks it down. It's just that if you're going to throw effective sliders and curves at this altitude, it requires the pitcher to put more force on the ball in order to do that, and that's critically important, they say. They don't want all that torque on their pitcher's arm, so Rockies pitchers need above average changeups. That's the formula they're trying to figure out how to succeed in this ballpark.
Well, they've tried hard throwers, they've tried sinker ball pitchers, and yeah, for me, the fastball changeup combination would seem a good place to start to build a pitching staff that has to play 81 games in this ballpark.
And if you look at the model for a successful pitcher in this ballpark, it's Jorge De La Rosa, who has an outstanding changeup. Bill Miller arguing now with the Rockies dugout. Walt Weiss on the top step. Bill Miller, you could hear him say, "Don't try and tell me what the pitch was."
I'm searching for strikes.
How do? Boy, rings him up after that exchange with Walt Weiss on the top step. And now Walt is inching a little closer here. And now Miller is giving him his last notice. You're out of here. And now here he comes to get his final word in. Walt Weiss has been ejected.
Streaking out of that first base dugout.
Well, it was a long afternoon for Walt Weiss. His team was down 9-0 after 4 innings in game 1. And game 2 is going to be a lot shorter for the Rocky skipper.
Yeah, it might actually seem longer. You got to go sit in the clubhouse now and trust that your coaches can run the ball game for you, unless Walt's one of those guys that'll hide down at the base of the steps and shout instructions up to his coaching staff. It's at the top of the zone there.
Bill Miller, the crew chief, has ejected the Rockies skipper, so Walt Weiss is gone. Here is Charlie Blackmon now with 2 outs in the 3rd. He popped up his first time. Different umpires, I imagine, Bob, will tolerate different levels of volume from a dugout before they finally have to put a stop to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Blackmon pokes it the other way and drops it into left for a 2-out single. Second hit for the Rockies against Robbie Ray. He's now at 50 pitches, 35 strikes. Blackmon's aboard after he had a pair of singles in game 1. Here's DJ LeMahieu.
There's a term they use going all the way back to Little League ball when the parents want to yell at the umpire, and the umpire looks at the parents or tells them to be quiet and sit down. You got rabbit ears? Well, some of the major league umpires have rabbit ears too. They hear every word coming out of those dugouts. Most choose not to respond. Others will rip their mask off and look over there and start a confrontation. Usually ends up in somebody getting ejected, never an umpire.
Boy, you are really bitter. Blackmon takes off. The throw from Tuffy is not in time. Third stolen base of the year for Charlie Blackmon.
Pretty good jump over there by Charlie Blackmon. You could see DJ LeMahieu just backs out of the batter's box. He saw the jump that his teammate had over there at first base. And rather than swing and foul it off or put the ball in play, he just chose to step out of the batter's box, let his teammate steal the bag, and then try to drive him in.
The pitch was a strike to LeMahieu. It's 0-1. 2 outs and Blackmon in scoring position. That's in the seats. No balls and 2 strikes. Mentioned during game 1 that LeMahieu has changed that batting stance. That front foot, that front leg doesn't come up nearly as high as it used to. And that's one reason he's second in the National League in hitting. He says he's done much better against breaking balls down and in. Handles those pitches a lot better with that quicker front foot. Used to be able to get him. Most guys you can get out when you keep everything down, but LeMahieu was particularly susceptible to it. But you see that front foot gets down a lot quicker right now.
Yeah, barely lifts it up off the ground, gets it back down quickly.
20th pitch of the inning from Robbie Ray is on the way.
Great thing about a doubleheader. Game 1 just felt like a slugfest. I mean, granted, the Diamondbacks were doing most of the slugging, but the Rockies were pounding the ball around the ballpark late as well. This game has the feel of one of those one-run ball games.
Each game has its own personality. Diamondbacks won game 1 13-7. They out-hit the Rockies 18-12. So far 0-2-0 for both teams, but Blackmon's at second with 2 outs, a ball and 2 strikes to DJ LeMahieu. In the air, right field, Inciarte backing up at the track at the wall, and he runs it down. Ender Inciarte has put on quite a show playing both corner outfield spots so far today. He tracks that one down with 2 outs and saves a run. And as we go to the 4th, still no score in game 2. years. As David Peralta leads off the Arizona fourth. You can watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. You'll get real-time highlights, live look-ins, the pitch tracking widget, which you just can't live without, and a whole lot more. Blackout rules do apply, so visit MLB.tv for details. Peralta struck out his first time up. He's down 0-2. That's what we're playing underneath. This was the makeup game. We were supposed to play a getaway day game earlier in the afternoon. We had 22,000 for that one. This is the improvised game. So it's sort of, hey, we're having a game. Why don't you come on down if you want? And the crowd is a little thinner here for game 2.
Yeah, I don't know how the players on the field feel about it, but I never like to play in front of crowds like this. The fewer people there are, the more you hear. You know, if there's 30 or 40,000 fans in the stands, it just turns into a dull roar all the time. You don't hear specific voices.
Shift is on, and he hits it right into the shift, and that's the first out.
But today you hear everything.
Well, Bill Miller certainly did.
Yeah.
That's the ejected Rockies manager Walt Weiss in the bottom of the third. You can see there's, you know, plenty of seats available here if you want to come on down. But, dark clouds overhead and a makeup game here doesn't exactly give you a recipe for a big crowd. Paul Goldschmidt struck out his first time. Drives the first pitch he sees. High and deep, and that ball is way out of here, gone, a home run. It's in the Diamondback bullpen. Goldie's 7th of the season, and the D-backs take a 1-0 lead. Goldie struck out 4 times in game 1. He struck out in his first at bat here in game 2. But one swing in the 4th inning, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. He hit it all the way to the back of the bullpen there.
That's the thing about power hitters. They may get into strikeout streaks from time to time, but they're one swing away from breaking out of it. And Goldie just absolutely stomped on that ball to center field. Stubbs took about 2 or 3 steps and then just watched it sail out.
He has been swinging at the first pitch and at bat about 10% more often than he did earlier in his career. And he just jacked the first one he saw out of here to make it 1-0. And here's A.J. Pollock. Just the second home run given up all year by Jordan Lyles. A.J. hits a fly ball out to left center field. Lee Noah's out there near the warning track. And that's the second out.
Oh, a moment. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to game 2 today. Try to get into their bullpen. We mentioned it at the end of game 1. 6 relief pitchers in a blowout ball game for Walt Weiss. That bullpen can't be in too good a shape. And for Robbie Ray against this Rockies lineup, it's power on power. We've seen that mid to upper 90s fastballs. The Rockies a good fastball hitting team. Should be a good matchup.
Aaron Hill flying out his first time up. Aaron had a 4-hit day in game 1, including his second home run of the year, a 3-run shot in the 4th. But he snuck just inside the left field foul pole. Hard to third. That's a fair ball down the left field line. It rolls into the corner, and Aaron Hill's bat has come alive here at Coors Field. That's his 3rd double and his 5th hit today.
Well, hitting coaches say it all the time. This is where you go to get healthy as a hitter. Not only the Rockies pitching staff and how vulnerable they can be, but this ballpark seems to light up a lot of hitters, and Aaron Hill really swinging the bat well right now.
And it's a good sign, Bob, to see him pulling the ball like we know that he can. And home run was right down the left field line. He had 2 singles down the left field line in game 1. And a double here, his 3rd of the year. Chris Owings now struck out his first time up today. He swings at the first pitch and skies it near the line in right. Blackman coming in. But the Diamondbacks strike first. They are on the board. Paul Goldschmidt way out of here into the Diamondback bullpen, his 7th of the year, and it's 1-0 D-backs.
Some Red Sox rookie pitcher by the name of Babe Ruth hit his first career home run off of Jack Crab Warhop on this day back in 1915. Career homer number 2 also came off of Crabman.
Crab Warhop.
Yeah.
I got to look that up. That's too good not to look up.
Well, we know he gave up at least 2 homers because Babe got him twice in the first week.
Troy Tulowitzki leads off the Colorado 4th against Robbie Ray, who's got a 1-0 lead after Paul Goldschmidt's 7th home run of this season. John Milton Warhawk. He was also called Crab.
There you go.
Born in Hinton, West Virginia. Pitched 8 years in the big leagues, all with the Yankees. And went 69 and 92. Actually, when he started pitching for the Yankees, they were still the Highlanders.
Might be a top of the rotation guy here in Colorado.
Robbie Ray now at 60 pitches, 42 for strikes. He's got 3 strikeouts so far. He's yet to walk a batter. And he's 2-2 on Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki, Arenado, Morneau, 3, 4, and 5 in the Rocky 4th. Through the hole and into left, a base hit. Leadoff man aboard for Colorado. And that's Tulowitzki's first hit today. His bat's been a little quiet the last 3 weeks or so. Got off to a tremendous start, Troy Tulowitzki, and was hitting everything in sight. 360 over his first 10 games with 7 doubles, but since the middle of April, he's hit under 250. Nolan Arenado grounded out his first time. Skies this one to left. Peralta's underneath. That's the first out. Brings up Justin Morneau, who had what we think was an intentional check swing double down the left field line away from the shift his first time up. It was kind of hard to tell. And the Diamondbacks will not go into the overshift here with Morneau up. You've got Tulowitzki at first, Goldie holding the runner. First pitch slider misses. It's 1-0. Justin Morneau, 3 hits in game 1, a homer, a double, a single. He doubled in his first at bat today in the second game, and he's ahead 2-0. Behind the bag in shallow center. Pennington drifting out, Pollock coming in. AJ has it. That's the second out. Brings up Michael McHenry, the catcher. Strike one is in there, 93. McHenry lined right to Aaron Hill at third his first time up. That's in the seats and out of play. Robbie Ray, so far so good. Giving up just 3 hits. 2 singles in the Morneau check swing dribbler away from the shift that wound up a double. He's got 3 strikeouts, and most importantly for Robbie, he has not walked a batter. been very efficient. 68 pitches, 48 strikes. That one misses. It's 1-2. Acquired by the Diamondbacks from Detroit, part of the three-way deal that sent Didi Gregorius to the Yankees. That was last December 5th. 9 games with the Tigers last year. 6 of them starts, his first appearances in the big leagues. And got knocked around a little bit. He was only 22. And showed some flashes in spring training this year in Scottsdale. Had some mixed results early. Made his 3rd spring start against the White Sox March 16th. 4 innings of 1-run ball, had 6 strikeouts. And the velocity was what we've seen here today, consistent mid to upper 90s. Good command and an improved breaking ball. The 1-2 pitch. Lifted in the air to left center field. A.J. Pollock on the run, and he won't get there. It'll roll just shy of the warning track. They're going to wave Tulowitzki home, and he will score. RBI double by Michael McHenry, and it's a 1-1 ball game.
So much ground to cover in that outfield. McHenry got a fastball out over the plate and down and just golfs it back toward that gap in left center field. You can see AJ was shading. A few steps over into the gap in right center. Had a long way to run. Unfortunately, the throw back into the infield gets under the cutoff man, allowing Tulo to come around and score from first.
3rd double a year for McHenry, ties it up. And with 2 outs, the batter is Drew Stubbs, who grounded out his first time. Gozawish wants to talk it over now. Mentioned that start against the White Sox this spring for Robbie Ray was the first time he really showed flashes of the guy they anticipated they were trading for. Mid-90s stuff with that really good changeup, the breaking ball getting better. And after that start, Chip Hale told reporters, that's Robbie Ray. That's the guy we traded for, a guy that the Diamondbacks believe has the arm to be a top of the rotation type pitcher. Traded for another guy like that, Ruby De La Rosa. He starts game 1 against the Padres tomorrow at Chase Field. Pre-game show comes your way. Diamondback Live at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. Padres have made a change in that ball game, by the way. Brandon Morrow was the scheduled starter for San Diego. He's on the DL now, so Odrisamer Despaigne, the Cuban who's given the Diamondbacks fits over the last couple of years, is going to start tomorrow night. That's a strike, 1-2. Not a lot of Bill Miller fans in the house this afternoon. You can hear 10 to 15 different individual voices kind of all at once. It's an interesting audio mix here. 1-2 right by him, and Stubbs strikes out. But Michael McHenry with a 2-out RBI double ties it up, and as we go to the 5th, it's a 1-1 ball game in Denver. Nationals' Bryce Harper against Miami's Tom Kohler today at Nationals Park in D.C. In the second inning, Harper homers. He hit that one 393 feet. Next time up, 442 feet into the upper deck in right center field. Next time up, 445 feet. 3 home runs for Bryce Harper today. He is our T-Mobile game-changing player, 22 years and 202 days old. He is the youngest player to hit 3 home runs in a ball game since the Red Sox' Joe LaHood in 1969. Joe LaHood had 9 home runs that year, 3 of them in one game.
You know, I talk a lot about hitters that can put backspin on the ball when they make contact, and when Bryce Harper is right and swinging the bat well, he backspins it as good as anybody in the game. That's why he gets that tremendous carry.
Well, he was 2 for 15 career against Tom Kohler, the Marlins pitcher. But hit 3 absolute bombs, 1 to the opposite field and 2 440 plus. And he said after the game, I was just trying to get some good ABs.
Yeah, just trying to get a good pitch to hit and put a good swing on it.
Max Scherzer got the win in that game for the Nationals, his second of the year. I think we're going to see Max Scherzer, former Diamondback, at Chase Field when the Nationals come in for 3 starting on Monday. Tuffy bangs it into right. He's 2 for 2. A leadoff single in the 5th for Tuffy Gozowicz.
It's always interesting to see how guys react. Tuffy obviously was the starting catcher for this team throughout the early part of the season, and then Jordan Pacheco had a couple of nice offensive games as the team was struggling to score runs, so Jordan gets some playing time, and now Tuffy in their game 2 of a doubleheader, he bangs out a couple of hits. Some guys like that challenge.
Tuffy in a 3 for 25 slump coming into game 2, but he's 2 for 2 so far. And here's Cliff Pennington, who had a bunt single his first time up. Arenado creeping in a bit on the grass at third. One thing that really works in the Diamondbacks' favor, or has been so far here against Jordan Lyles, is that this is one of the better ground ball pitchers in all of baseball, but he's been a fly ball pitcher here today. He throws 2 different fastballs and a hard slider. He's got that 2-seam sink that breaks in on the righties away from the lefties, but he's got a ground ball rate of nearly 53%, which puts him just outside the top 20 in all of baseball, and he's got 5 fly ball outs. So the Diamondbacks are succeeding getting the ball up in the air, which in this ballpark is always a good thing, against a pretty good ground ball pitcher.
3 ground outs. 2 of those actually came on one play, the double play off the bat of Ender Inciarte, so there's really only been 2 balls put on the ground tonight for outs.
Bodes well for the Diamondbacks as long as Lyles is in there. He's been very efficient, only 56 of pitches so far, as we're into the 5th inning. A base hit by Tuffy Gozowicz to lead off the Arizona 5th. Now he's behind on Pennington, 2 balls and no strikes. And Robbie Ray, the pitcher, is on deck. Penny through the hole and into right, a base hit. Well, last time this happened, it led off the 3rd inning. Singles by Gozowicz and Pennington. Robbie Ray could not advance the runners and get a bunt down. He struck out trying to bunt, and then Inciarte hit into a double play. So not getting the bunt down in that 3rd inning was a key play in the ball game so far. And we'll see this time if Robbie Ray has a little better luck trying to get that bunt down and move those runners up, stay out of that double play ball. Let's take a look at our lows. Never stop improving. Players of the game, and it's on this road trip where we talk about the Diamondbacks with runners in scoring position. 2 for 17 in 3 games at Dodger Stadium, 9 for 22 in 1 game earlier today here at Coors Field. 22 chances to hit with runners in scoring position in 1 ball game. Robbie Ray, good bunt, gets it down, and that'll get the job done. 1-4 on the putout. Robbie Ray advances the runners, and now the Diamondbacks have men in scoring position. Second and third, one out for the top of the order, Ender Inciarte. Good job by Robbie Ray that time. Ender so far 0 for 2 after he had 4 hits in game 1. Tuffy Gozawish is the runner at third. Cliff Pennington at second. The Rockies infield will come in now with 1 out. A big cut at that one and misses. It's 0-1.
And because of this defensive alignment with the Rockies infielders playing in front of the baseline, that last pitch, Cliff Pennington had a monster lead out there at second base. Pitch at the top of the zone, swung right through by Ender Inciarte. Yeah, Cliff was able to get out there behind Tulo, and then his secondary lead took him almost halfway to third base.
Right behind the shortstop, Tulowitzki. Throw down to third, and Tuffy is back in time. Sean Barber, the umpire down there.
A clear throwing lane with a left-handed hitter at the plate. You see Arenado's breaking as the pitch was being delivered. Good form that time by Tuffy. When you take that lead, secondary lead, you have to come down with your right foot as that ball's getting into the hitting zone, so you're ready to turn and retreat to the base if you have to.
One misses away. It's 2 balls and a strike to Ender Inciarte. Drew Stubbs, the center fielder, shaded over toward left. So there's a whole lot of room in right center for Inciarte. Anything in that gap is a triple for him easy right now. Some heavy clouds moving in. Third base side to our left here. That's in the seats, 2-2. What do you got on the old Doppler?
Well, pretty much the same as it's been all day. A lot of gray, which is the cloud cover we've been underneath most of the afternoon. The green stuff, keep your fingers crossed. Looks like it might miss us.
You've done a heck of a job so far.
Well, I'm trying to fill in for Ralph Kelso, and those are big shoes to fill.
The Ralph Kelso spot-on weather forecast, a staple of every home game here on Fox Sports Arizona. 2-2. Ender right to LeMahieu at second. Hang with him.
Can't do anything more than that. The old cliche, get a good pitch, try to put a good swing on it. Ender did all that. Unfortunately, hit it right at the Rocky second baseman, right in his tracks.
Well, they will need a 2-out hit now from David Peralta, who has struck out and grounded out. And the Rockies overshift the right-hand side of the infield. Peralta gets it up in the air. It backs up Blackman in right field, and he can't get it. It's off the wall. Gozawish scores. Pennington has scored, and there's David Peralta with a 2-run double, and it's 3-1 Diamondbacks. 5th double of the year for Peralta. That one was belted.
Boy, he hit the living daylights out of that ball. Got out in front of it just a little bit. Really extended his swing with that right arm and completely fooled Blackman out there in right field. He thought he had a beat on that ball. It just accelerated right over his glove. And the Diamondbacks put a couple more on the board.
Here's Goldie, who homered his last time up. So compare and contrast the 3rd and 5th innings for the Diamondbacks. Night and day difference. Both innings, Gozawish and Pennington led off with base hits. Peralta heads for third. He's going to get there as it kicks away from McHenry. 3rd inning, Robbie Ray couldn't get the bunt down. He struck out. Inciarte hit into a double play. Well, here in the 5th, again, Gozawish and Pennington singles. Ray with a good bunt. Peralta the 2-run double.
Great read by David Peralta. He tracked that ball in the dirt, realized it was going to be a tough block and recover, and he's able to advance 90 feet on to third.
1-0 to Goldie. in there for a strike. Goldie, after the loss to the Dodgers on Sunday, a little more vocal than we usually see him. He kind of bottom-lined it and said if the Diamondbacks want to win, if they want to make the playoffs or do whatever the team goals are going to be, they have to find a way to play a little bit better. And he said the entire coaching staff and the players are going to be looking for any way to get better. So if it's a hitters meeting or individual conversations, whatever it is, they as a team are going to continually look to get better every day. And we've certainly seen that here after a couple of days of waiting around in the rain. 2-2. Reaches down and lifts it in the air to shallow left field. Inoa coming in. It drops in front. Peralta scores. 4-1 Diamondbacks. RBI single for Goldie. A pair of big 2-out hits for the Diamondbacks.
Well, we've seen two different kind of Coors Field hits in this inning. David Peralta with a line drive that just streaked over the head of Charlie Blackmon in right. And then Goldie cues one off the end of the bat because the left fielder's playing so deep he can't get there. It drops in front.
A.J. Pollock 0 for 2. Well, that makes a big difference when you can get that tack-on run home from third with 2 outs after the big hit by Peralta.
Yeah, we talked about it in game 1. Just keep your foot on the accelerator. In this ballpark, you can never have too many runs until the final out is recorded.
By the way, we should point out a scoring change from game 1 with A.J. Pollock up there. He had 6 plate appearances and reached base all 6 times. 3 walks, 2 doubles. He had reached on an error in the 4th inning. That was E6, error on Tulowitzki. That has now been changed. That was that hard hit ball right to Tulo. They just changed it to a base hit. So A.J. in game 1, 3 walks, 3 hits. He's 0 for 2 so far in game 2. So now I got to go erase.
Watch out.
Buzz the tower there. So make that now 13 runs, 19 hits for the Diamondbacks in game 1.
And take the error away from the Rockies.
Goldie at first, 2 balls, no strikes to A.J. Pollock. Diamondbacks with 3 runs in this inning. 2-out, 2-run double by Peralta. 2-out RBI single by Goldschmidt. And Robbie Ray in his D-backs debut has a 4-1 lead. There goes Goldie. The pitch is a strike, and Goldschmidt is in there. With a stolen base, he's a perfect 6 for 6 this season. Trying to tack on one more here in the 5th. Rockies are really in trouble here. They've lost, counting game 1 today, 6 in a row. Yeah, 6 in a row, 12 of their last 16 games. And this is a team that started off the year 7-2. 26th pitch of this inning coming up from Jordan Lyles. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it is. He strikes out Pollock, and that ends the inning. But leadoff singles in the inning by Gozuish and Pennington, and then 2 out hits by Peralta and Goldschmidt send us to the bottom of the 5th, and the Diamondbacks lead it 4-1. Key for Robbie Ray here in the 5th, the shutdown inning after the Diamondbacks get 3 in the top half of the inning to take a 4-1 lead. And Rafael Ynoa leads off the Colorado 5th. Jordan Lyles, the pitcher, is out in the on-deck circle. So Ynoa, Lyles, Blackman 8-9-1 here for Colorado. Ynoa making just his 4th start all year. He's played some third base and some shortstop. He's out there in left field for game 2. And he's 0 for 1 so far. Robbie Ray so far has given up 1 run on 4 hits. He has not walked a batter, which is critical for him. And he's got 4 strikeouts. And he has thrown consistent mid to upper 90s and looked good. This is belted to left. It backs up Peralta, and he runs it down for the first out. And Lyles will take the at bat here in the 5th. Let's take a look at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup. We are on a plane right after this ball game, finally headed home for the first of 4 against the San Diego Padres. Ruby De La Rosa starts for the Diamondbacks, and a change for San Diego. Brandon Morrow had originally been scheduled to start. He's on the DL now, so Adrisamir Despaigne will start for the Padres. Diamondbacks, Bob, have had very little luck against Despaigne. He sort of has their number.
Yeah, you'd like to think that based on the experience that they've had, Despaigne's had the better of it, but maybe they've learned something from the experiences and hopefully bring their offensive game tomorrow night.
And then Friday's pitching matchup, Jeremy Hellickson and James Shields. We have all 4 games for you on Fox Sports Arizona. Robbie Ray rings up Lyles, his 5th strikeout, 2 down.
Pretty good to me. Inside corner fastball right there. Jordan Lyles taking the at bat. Talk about counting down the outs when you have a lead in the game. Hate to give one up to the with the pitcher right there, but perhaps because of the way they use their bullpen in that first game, they need a little more length out of Jordan Lyles today.
Yeah, the Rockies in what was a blowout game went through 7 pitchers, 3 of them in the 9th inning. Here's Charlie Blackman, who singled his last time up and stole a base. He's 1 for 2.
Well, good to see Robbie Ray just pounding that bottom part of the strike zone.
That fastball and that changeup combo have really worked well. Mix in the occasional breaking ball. This is belted. Goldie knocks it down. Ray gets over there and covers. And he works a quick 1-2-3 shutdown 5th inning with some help from America's first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, down there at first, laying out. And we head to the 6th. It's 4-1 Diamondbacks.
Inside the Diamondbacks dugout. And I'm just going to advance the theory, Bob, you touched on, and Steve, I think you did as well in game one. I mentioned it in the brief pregame. There's a grounder, the first out of the inning, I would presume. But two of the principal characters of the four that were playing bottle cap baseball today in game two, how about this? Cliff Pennington, the founder and commissioner of the league, 2 hits, scored a run. David Peralta, a double, 2 RBIs.
I think we have to start referring to Cliff Pennington as Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
Yeah, the commish.
The commish.
Yeah.
And we might be onto something here with bottle cap baseball.
I mean, 2 days, stale. No BP, nothing.
Yeah, that's the only rational explanation, right?
I think that's kind of why I came up to say that to you guys here.
I think you're right on it.
Okay.
There is Judge Landis in the on-deck circle. Chris Owings 0 for 2 so far. I'm anxious to kind of try that bottle cap baseball. I'd like to see that bat again. I think it's one of those big Nerf bats, right?
Looks like it, yeah.
That's a broken bat, and it drops over the head of Arenado. And Owings has got a base hit. He's going to try and stretch it into 2, and he does. Well, that's not the hardest ball Chris Owings will ever hit. But it goes in the books as a 1-out double. His 3rd this year. Just dunked it over Arenado's head. There's another bottle cap guy, Todd, with a base hit.
Breaks his bat, hits that little floater over Arenado's head, and with Inoa playing deep once again out there in left field, Arenado's got to run it all the way down out there. And going that direction, having to plant, spin around, throw back to the infield, no chance to get Chris Owings.
Well, the D-backs had 19 hits in game 1. They now have 9 hits in game 2 with 1 out in the 6th. And Tuffy has 2 of them. He's 2 for 2. What I like about bottle cap baseball is the idea that it's subjective and it's like figure skating.
Oh, yeah.
There are judges, and you judge what the hit was depending on how well the ball was struck, or I should say the bottle cap was struck.
And I would assume the commissioner has the final say.
Well, Judge Landis is a pretty hardline guy. Arenado at 3rd. Throws out Tuffy. Our director, Mitch Riggin, points out that figure skating, we see some elaborate outfits. You know, Johnny Weir, the whole thing. I'm not sure that factors into bottle cap baseball at all.
I haven't seen any of it yet.
Hopefully he won't. Cliff Pennington 2 for 2. He scored a run.
Oh, you know, we've had those great shots in the dugout of Goldie visualizing, sitting there with his eyes closed, visualizing every at bat he's going to take in a game. Cliff Pennington just has to visualize water bottle cap coming at him instead of a baseball.
Well, with Robbie Ray on deck. The pitcher and first base open. They're going to envision an intentional walk to Judge Landis here. And it'll work to Robbie Ray with 2 outs. Do they have a hockey version of bottle cap baseball?
Yeah, they do. It's actually it's sort of 2-touch. They play with a soccer ball before every game. It's an amazing thing to see. Did a feature on that this year. Every team
soccer
does.
with hockey sticks.
With just a soccer ball. They gather in a circle and they play 2-touch. The ball can't touch the ground. It's an infamous hockey warm up.
Like hacky sack in a 7-Eleven parking lot?
Yes.
All right.
I just want to say this, though, guys. I don't know about you, but this morning when I was cleaning my room at the hotel here.
They have people that'll do that for you.
I heard that. You have to pay them. I took the bottle caps. There was a lot of bottled water all over the rooms here, right? Those little bottles.
Yeah, they're only like $15.
Exactly. But after I drank them and put them on my expense report, I kept the caps.
They're going to come in handy, I have a feeling.
I think so.
LeMahieu throws out Robbie Ray. Well, there it is. It's Judge Landis down there in the hallway. Bottle cap baseball, and it's working for the Diamondbacks. Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers. Downtown Denver, Diamondbacks bidding for a doubleheader sweep of the Rockies. They lead Game 2 4-1 after a 13-7 win in Game 1 today. And it's all in the hands of Robbie Ray in his D-backs debut, who has looked terrific. A very big 5th inning for Robbie Ray. We talk about, and Tony La Russa does as well, the importance of the shutdown inning. After your team gets a lead, Diamondbacks got 3 in the top of the 5th, and Robbie Ray in the bottom of the 5th had a 9-pitch inning, 1-2-3. And now LeMahieu leads off the Colorado 6th. LeMahieu, Tulowitzki, Arenado, 2, 3, and 4.
Big inning here for Robbie Ray. Chances are this is the last time he will work his way through the middle of this Rockies order.
Randall Delgado, in fact, has just started throwing in the Diamondback bullpen.
Third look at the Diamondbacks left-hander for the Rockies offense. They're still not taking a lot of good swings against him in this ball game, but now's the stage you really start to keep an eye on your starting pitcher.
Mayhew so far 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Little dribbler to third. Aaron Hill has it. And he throws out LeMahieu, one away in the 6th. Now, Robbie Ray personifies in many ways exactly what the D-backs are looking for at this point with the organizational philosophy. A young power pitcher, 23 years old, good size. He's 6'2" out there, 195. And has really good zip on that fastball, mid to high 90s. We've seen him hit 97 here today, consistent 95, 96. From the left-hand side, a guy who has got real upside. and can be a big piece of this pitching staff moving forward. Tulowitzki fouls that one back. And the D-backs will have Robbie Ray under contractual control until at least 2021. So he's, at least they hope, a big part of the future here. Tulo, 2 for 3 today. Finds the hole and knocks it into left for a 1-out single. Nolan Arenado now. Arenado 0 for 2.
Arenado, as usual, has been very aggressive in this doubleheader here today, swinging a lot of first pitches. Just get it close to the zone. He's going to try to hit it.
Well, Arenado batting behind Tulowitzki. And he kind of likes to follow in Tulo's footsteps. He's got a role model playing right next to him there at shortstop. And he's kind of borrowed from Tulo's media game plan and getting a little outspoken for a young guy. They lost Sunday at San Diego. They were swept, and after that sweep, Arenado said the Rockies just simply need to get better. He said, we need to do everything. We need to pitch better, hit better, men on base, everything, all around. We're just not very good right now. That sounds a lot like Troy Tulowitzki. Double play ball here. Pennington, Owings, Goldie, they roll it. And Robbie Ray is through 6 with a 4-1 lead here at Coors. Sure to get your tickets right now. Saturday, don't miss this. It's Josh Colmenter Bobblehead Day, courtesy of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. May 24th, the D-backs Fedora Cap, courtesy of Gila River Casinos. And then on June 6th, check out the Tony La Russa Bobblehead, courtesy of Chevrolet. You don't want to miss any giveaway games this year, so get your tickets right now at dbacks.com. Ender Inciarte leads off the 7th. Some changes behind Jordan Lyles defensively for the Rockies. We'll have those for you in just a moment. Broken bat, little flare into center. And Drew Stubbs runs it down. Some changes in the outfield. Rafael Inoa has left the ball game for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon has moved from right over to left, replacing Inoa. And Carlos Gonzalez checks into the game in right field. So that's Blackmon, Stubbs, and Cargo left to right in the Rockies outfield. Gonzalez hitting 8th in the order. Here's Peralta. A 2-run double his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Charlie Blackmon doesn't play a whole lot of left field. He's usually center or right.
Makes you think that something must have happened to Enoa for him to come out of this ball game and get Carlos Gonzalez into the game.
Yeah, especially down 4-1.
Yeah.
I guess they just want to get Cargo in a bat or two. 0-2 on Peralta. Robbie Ray, really, really impressive here. How about this, Bob? They got him a 4-1 lead, and Robbie Ray answered that with a 9-pitch fifth and a 7-pitch sixth. There's a fly ball near the line in left, and Blackman runs it down. 2 outs. More fly ball outs for Jordan Lyles. This was the reception in the dugout for Robbie Ray, and it kind of makes you think that that's it for him. He just looks like a guy that's been told, okay, you're done, good job.
Yeah, a lot of handshakes in there. Outstanding performance.
Andrew Chafin is throwing now in the Diamondback bullpen. Randall Delgado had been up earlier. Boy, Robbie Ray was really impressive. And the most impressive thing, other than those 2 shutdown innings, no walks.
No walks, absolutely. Just pounding that strike zone, trusting his stuff.
Yeah, that has been the big bugaboo throughout his career so far. There's a word I'll never use again, hopefully, Robbie Ray. He's been averaging nearly 6 walks for every 9 innings pitched with Reno this year. And all through his minor league career, the strikeout totals have always been high. But so have the walk totals. So no walks here. And 5 strikeouts through 6 innings. Really, really good. Only 1 run allowed.
I'll tell you, he pitched so good, you wonder if the Diamondbacks might not change their mind. He was called up as the 26th man strictly to start this Game 2 of the doubleheader. He's ticketed to go back to Reno when the club flies back to Phoenix tonight. But you see a performance like that, and some of the guys in the bullpen and in the rotation are maybe struggling. You try to see, where does Robbie Ray fit into this whole thing now?
Well, the bullpen is an interesting call. That's a call they seem to sort of decide on at the end of spring training. And Tony La Russa talked about the possibilities for Robbie Ray, and the club had to make a decision there, balancing him not knowing when he would come out of the bullpen. If he made the big league club as a reliever, that was one consideration. There was that versus taking the ball on a regular routine as a starter in the minor leagues. That was a key part of the decision with Robbie Ray, and the club felt that for Robbie, it was more important at this stage to get the ball every 5 days than to get sporadic work in the bullpen. Goldie strikes out here to end the 7th. We stretch at Coors Field, and the Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 4-1. From Robbie Ray in his Diamondback debut, who gave up just 1 run on 5 hits and 6. Struck out 5 and did not walk a batter. Very efficient, BB. 92 pitches, 66 for strikes.
Yeah, for a guy that has a reputation of spraying the ball around, he was all around the strike zone today, both with that fastball. He mixed in a couple of sliders, elevated up out of the zone when he wanted to. He got some help from his defense out there, made some nice plays behind him. But Robbie Ray, very impressive in his first start here for the Diamondbacks.
And they got him that 3-run fifth, and he gave them 2 shutdown innings. And now Andrew Chafin is on for the 10th time this year. He'll work against the Rockies in the bottom of the 7th. Justin Morneau, Michael McHenry, and Drew Stubbs scheduled up 5, 6, and 7 for Colorado. The timely hits, we mentioned the 3-run Arizona fifth. A 2-out, 2-run double by David Peralta, followed by a 2-out RBI single from Goldie. And the bottom of the order has really come through for the Diamondbacks. Tuffy goes a wish, 2 for 3. Batting 7th, a pair of singles. Cliff Pennington, 2 for 2 with 2 singles and an intentional walk. He has scored a run. Morneau lifts it in the air to deep left center field, and David Peralta runs it down in the gap. 1 out to start the 7th. Peralta really covered a lot of ground out there in that left center field gap. It's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Boy, did he go a long way to get that one.
He really did. They were giving Morneau a lot of room out there in the gap in left center. Nice play by David Peralta. Must have been some communication because you saw AJ back off that ball at the last instant. All you got to do is talk. Nice play.
Michael McHenry has driven in the lone Rocky run. An RBI double in the 4th. Rafael Betancourt now warming up in the Colorado bullpen. Betancourt just had his 75th birthday last week, so that's really impressive. Actually, I think he's just turned 40.
Feels like 75 some mornings, I'm sure.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Broken bat, bouncer to second. Owings collects it and throws him out. That'll bring up Drew Stubbs, the center fielder.
Yeah, he even got his arm up as well. Must have been calling for it audibly and then held up his hand so that A.J. Pollock could see that he thought he had a beat on it, could make the play.
Deep into that left center field corner. Stubbs 0 for 2. He struck out his last time up. He homered in game 1. Diamondbacks can hang on here. They will get the doubleheader sweep. They'll have won 2 in a row, and they'll be back within 2 games of 500 going into a 4-game series against the Rockies, followed by 3 against the Nationals, or 4-game series against the Padres, pardon me, at Chase Field, and 3 against the Nats starting on Monday. Three and 0 to Stubbs. 4-pitch walk with 2 outs. And Gonzalez will hit. First walk issued by D-backs pitching today. Diamondbacks had only 2 walks in game 1. So here's Cargo, who checked into the ball game in the top portion of this inning, playing right field. He had a single and a walk and a run scored in game 1. He was 1 for 3. 205 on the year with 2 homers.
Really shouldn't be a surprise that the Rockies haven't drawn a lot of base on balls in this doubleheader today. They're dead last in the National League. They're not up there looking for free passes.
They're up there looking for balls to hit. One idea Walt Weiss had when the Rockies left spring training was to bat Cargo second in the lineup. He was all for it. but he just didn't hit enough to allow Weiss to do that for much of the year. And so he's been dropped to lower in the order. He hit 6th. That's where he's been a lot lately. He hit 6th in game 1. He hit 2nd in the order only 10 times, batted .220 from that spot before he had to be dropped. Pitcher spot is due up next for the Rockies. Daniel Descalso is out there. The 1-0 to Cargo.
Now, the only right-handed bat available to the Rockies off the bench in game 2 is Nick Hundley, the other catcher. That's why Daniel Descalso, a left-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle for the pitcher spot.
Diamondbacks, you can see the 3 infielders on the right-hand side. 1-1 is fouled back. Dark clouds continue to move in. Got to keep this game going at a brisk pace. Tuffy sets up down and away, and Cargo chases for the strikeout. And Chafin strands the 2-out walk. 8th inning coming up. The Diamondbacks going for the doubleheader sweep. They lead it 4-1. By Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees. And by Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing. Choose Chaz. All right, seriously, this is the worst thing at any Major League Baseball game. The Rockies mascot kind of a race deal is sponsored by a dental outfit, and they have a tube of toothpaste, a toothbrush, and a tooth. And they race
to the dental floss finish line. Yeah.
Yes. So here, a week into his 40th year, turned 40 a week ago today, the veteran right-hander Rafael Betancourt is on for Colorado, his 12th appearance, and he can still get guys out, a 1.69 ERA. He's been getting it done for a long time. A.J. Pollock will lead off the Diamondback 8th inning. Pollock, Hill, Owings, 4, 5, and 6. D-backs have out hit the Rockies 9-5. They lead it 4-1 after winning the first game here, 13-7. And Robbie Ray in his Diamondback debut here today in Game 2 was outstanding. And they're trying to get him the win. Get this thing home and get on the plane before the monsoon sets in. Because it's coming. Jordan Lyles, who got the start for the Rockies. 4 runs all earned on 9 hits in 7. He had 6 strikeouts, walked only 1. There's a strike, 1-1. Good to see the Diamondbacks getting a lead on timely hits. Some big 2-out hits in that 5th inning by Peralta and Goldie. as well as some base hits from the lower part of the order. Tuffy 2 for 3, batting 7th. Pennington 2 for 2 with a walk, batting 8th. AJ belts it into right. He's 1 for 4 after he reached base safely 6 times in game 1. 3 walks, a single, and 2 doubles in game 1. He's 1 for 4 with a single here in game 2.
Boy, and just about every at bat today, AJ's gotten the barrel on the ball. You can hear the sound from our field mics as he makes contact. Everything has been right on the sweet spot.
And Aaron Hill has had a very good day at the plate as well. Aaron had 4 hits in game 1, including a 3-run homer, his 2nd of the year. 1 for 3 with a double in the 4th here in game 2. Belted it down the left field line. He's really pulled the ball well here today, which is a great sign for Aaron. And now let's see, he's hit safely in 6 straight and 7 of his last 8. About this, Aaron Hill, when we started the doubleheader today, was batting 196 on the year. He's up to 250. That's a pretty good day. And he belts another one. Knocks it into left. Blackman over to cut it off. AJ's in there at third. And Aaron Hill has a single. That's his 2nd hit in this ball game and his 6th hit today in the doubleheader. And none of them have been sheepies.
No, he's hit the ball hard. This one down toward the left field corner. Charlie Blackman gets over to cut it off. But Pollock's easily going to advance first to third. The throw goes back into second. Aaron Hill had taken a huge turn around first, but had his head up. He saw the throw going to second base, slammed on the brakes, content to stay at first with a single.
3 singles and a homer in game 1, a single and a double here in game 2. First and third, nobody out for Chris Owings, who doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3.
Go, Rocky! Strikeout, baby!
90 feet away from a taco sweep of the doubleheader ball.
To check our records and see if we've ever taco swept a doubleheader.
Diamondbacks so far in both games of this doubleheader are 11 for 31 with runners in scoring position. 2 for 9 here in game 2. That's in there for a strike, and Owings is down 0-2. See that dark sky moving in from the left field corner as we race to the finish line here in downtown Denver. Well, that one got McHenry back there. Bill Miller checking in. Right off the mask, it looked like.
Got the old school mask with the helmet under. Pretty solid hit right there.
Yeah, there's some weather here.
Just leave it out there.
Yes. Owings strikes out, one away in the 8th.
Elevated fastball just above the belt. Looked like a pretty good pitch to hit that time, but CO swung right through it. Interesting little tidbit on Rafael Betancourt.
What do you got?
This guy's in his 11th or 12th year in the major leagues. He turned 40 years old about a week ago. Over the course of his career, he's hit exactly one batter in the big leagues.
Wow.
Only 2 in his minor league career.
Rafael Betancourt. This is his 12th year in the major leagues. And he's appeared in, this is game 647 for Rafael Betancourt. Yeah, one hit batter as a rookie in Cleveland, 2003.
Marcus Thames, or Thames, or how you pronounce it, Thames.
Just like the river.
Yeah, just like the river.
Tuffy has singled twice. He scored a run, 2 for 3.
And, you know, for a hitter, fear is part of the equation. When you get in that batter's box and a guy's throwing a ball upward to 100 miles per hour, fear is always a part of your approach as a hitter. But if I look at a stat sheet and see a guy that's only hit one batter in the last 11 years, I'm not going to have any fear. I'm going to dive in there and make sure I can cover that outside part of the plate. Yeah, Betancourt's always had good control. But even guys with good control occasionally will knock somebody off the plate just to keep them honest.
Had 31 saves here for the Rockies 3 years ago. He has never started a game in his big league career. We're getting some lightning flashes. That's a look out towards center. The lightning is coming in from the left field corner. It looks pretty bad over there. Tuffy bunts it. Here comes Arenado at third. And Gozawish bunts for a base hit. Pollock scores. 5-1 D-backs. Tuffy's third hit today.
How about that? Take what they give you.
We have got 2 for 2. Sometimes you got to live Tomas.
I'm telling you, tacos for days. Well, that's just a heads-up play by Tuffy Gozawish. He looked up, saw Nolan Arenado playing way back there, anticipating a possible double play ball, and said, yeah, I can beat that one out.
And he did.
Nice play by Arenado. Throw was a little high. They weren't going to get Tuffy anyway.
Not with his speed.
No, of
Wait
course
a minute,
not.
what? Cliff Pennington has reached base safely 3 times, 2 singles. He was intentionally walked. The pitcher spot is due up next. And Mark Trumbo is in the on-deck circle. Now it's really raining on the third base side. And the handful of fans that are here are scurrying for the overhang. One. There's Mark, who had a long opposite field home run in game 1. A 2-run homer, an RBI double. He scored twice. Also drew a walk in that ball game. That one misses away. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Well, 5 seems to be the magic number if you're a Diamondbacks hitter. When they score more than 5 runs in a game, they're a perfect 10-0. 4 runs or fewer, they're 1-14. And for the Rockies pitchers, when they allow more than 5, they're 0-13. 4 or fewer, 11-1.
That's why we set the taco number at 5.
Yeah.
Right on the number. Aaron Hill bluffs toward third, and there he goes. Both runners move up. Aaron Hill broke toward third and then froze in a dead stop halfway to the bag and then decided just to keep going. And Tuffy sneaks in at second as well as McHenry dropped the ball. Watch Aaron Hill, top of your screen there.
He got such a good jump, he said, wait a minute, this can't be right. He was on a dead run, and Betancourt was still standing on the mound with the ball in his glove and still threw home.
First stolen base and first stolen base of the career for Tuffy as the Diamondbacks complete the double steal. Yeah, we'd like to see Mitch Reagan, our director, says Tuffy should pull the base over his head like Ricky Henderson. Today I am the greatest of all time.
How about that sequence for Tuffy? He bunts for a base hit.
What is going on here?
It's a stolen base.
It's the world gone mad. It's got to be the altitude.
So now Chafin will take the at-bat. Trumbo had been in the on-deck circle. Second strikeout of the inning for Betancourt, and Chafin will hit.
You know he's up there swinging for the downs. He's got nothing to lose here.
He's trying to leave Earth with this swing. He's heard about the thin air here in Colorado. He wants to test it out for himself.
Take advantage of these molecules. He's got 2 RBIs sitting out there if he can knock it into the outfield. Good eye there from Andrew. It's a ball and a strike. I want to say, fingers crossed, there's a little bit of sunshine down in that left field corner now. Stuff is just swirling around over our heads. It's stopped raining, at least for the moment. A lighter sky off to our left. Ball on a strike on Chafin. If he swings any harder, he's liable to fall over.
No batting gloves. Fortunately, he does have that protective guard on his throwing arm. He's a left-handed thrower, right-handed hitter. That throwing arm exposed to a pitcher. Fortunately, as we mentioned, Betancourt never hits anybody.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, please.
Chafin pops it up. Very shallow left. Tulowitzki's out there. Blackman calls him off. And the Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get one more. Tuffy goes to wish another RBI. A 3-hit day for Tuffy, and it's 5-1 D-backs. How will you live the gig life? That was the Cox Gig Life high-speed highlights. Some lightning out there in that corner behind the left field foul pole. As Andrew Chafin is back out there to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. Daniel Descalso off the bench for the Rockies. He'll hit for the pitcher, Betancourt. So Descalso, Blackman, LeMahieu, 9-1-2 in the Colorado 8th. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Rockies 12-5. They lead at 5-1, going for the doubleheader sweep. Here's a strike, 0-1. Well, Descalso, a pinch hit in game 1. He struck out. offense has really hit the skids. Wow, there's some serious lightning out there in left field. Descalso 3 hits in 31 at bats right now. Fortunately, the lightning appears to be off in the distance enough to keep going here. But we are getting some big time flashes.
Yeah, the moisture we have falling inside the park right now. A very misty light rain at this point. Nothing that will cause the game to be delayed if it stays like this.
Keep going. One and two. Andrew Chafin on in relief of Robbie Ray, who was outstanding here today. In his Diamondbacks debut, 1 run on 5 hits in 6. He did not walk a batter and had 5 strikeouts. 92 pitches, 66 for strikes. This is away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Descalso. We got just about every kind of weather you can think of going on out there in center and left. Sun, lightning, rain, hail, locusts, you name it. 3 and 2. Little flare out to left center field for AJ. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. Hey fans, tonight Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on a full night of NBA and NHL playoff action, including Bob Brennan's Blackhawks. Plus highlights of tonight's MLB game, the Blackhawks last night, right? Yeah. Now you can see Fox Sports Live tonight at 11, Fox Sports 1. See it simulcast right here on Fox Sports Arizona at 11 p.m.
Blackhawks are only my guys after the Coyotes have been.
Well, yeah, now that we're in the postseason.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out what happened on that draft pick thing. That is such a scam. There's a strike on Blackman, who singled in the 3rd, 1 for 3. I asked Todd Walsh about that. He didn't know either.
If Todd doesn't know,
yeah, it's like, you know,
nobody knows.
Ball 2. Charlie Blackmon, a pair of singles in game 1. He was 2 for 5, 1 for 3 here in game 2. And he sits safely in 9 of his last 10. Gets this up in the air out to right center field. Inciarte drifting over. Another fly ball out. 2 down in the 8th. Brings up DJ LeMahieu.
What a good jump Ender got on that ball. It looked like it was ticketed for the gap in right center, but he was off and running as that ball got up in the air and got to the spot and had to wait on it to come down. You see where he starts from out there, gets a great jump, runs right to the spot and says, well, I got plenty of time to make that play.
This is the 17th doubleheader in Diamondbacks history. In the first 16, they split 8 times, had 6 sweeps. They have only been swept in a doubleheader twice in their history. So the Diamondbacks bidding for their 7th ever doubleheader sweep. After the Bats just blew up in the first game, they won 13-7, had 19 hits, and they lead here 5-1 with 2 outs in the 8th in game 2. LeMahieu 0 for 3. I think, look at the left field corner there. The sun is actually setting. It's just, I don't know.
People sitting under umbrellas, and the players are going to need their sunglasses in a moment.
And look at that sky, man. That's just nuts. By EY Sr. down there at first. He can still move. Logan warming up in the Rocky bullpen. Brad Ziegler for the Diamondbacks. D-backs in the ninth inning will have the top of the order. Inciarte, Peralta, Goldie. This is upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes. Broken bat. Right to Chris Owings at second base. And Andrew Chafin is through the 8th. We go to the 9th inning. Diamondbacks going for the sweep. It's 5-1. Hey fans, the Fox Sports Arizona Fan Express brought to you by Cox Communications is set to take you to a Diamondbacks game. Stop by this month's participating Cox Solutions store in Casa Grande and you can enter for your chance to win 2 seats aboard the Fan Express bus. You'll get round-trip transport to the D-backs game on June the 6th. Registration ends May 25. For more information, visit foxsportsarizona.com. Boone Logan, who threw 17 pitches, worked 2/3 of an inning in game 1, is back out there to pitch the 9th inning in game 2. And the Diamondbacks have set a new franchise record here, 18 runs in a doubleheader and bidding for more here in the 9th. 17 combined runs, had been tied for the most in Diamondbacks history in a doubleheader. They've done it 4 times. But now after they scored 1 in the 8th, 18 runs, a new doubleheader record for the D-backs. Ender hitless in game 2. He had 4 hits in game 1. Should be good to go for the rest of the game here. It's only the 9th inning, but now it's just flat out sunny down in left field. And most of the really nasty weather. Look at that. You can see the sun setting. Most of the nasty looking clouds have moved on. Ender Inciarte, the only position player without a hit in this ball game for the Diamondbacks. He did hit one right to DJ LeMahieu in the 5th inning. Oh, that should have been for an RBI base hit, but just an atom ball, and now he strikes out. Hey fans, Saturday MLB on Fox Sports 1 is back with a doubleheader of divisional rivalries. Will start AL Central, the Royals and the Tigers, then National League East, the Braves and the Nationals. Coverage starts Saturday, 9:30 in the morning on Fox Sports 1 and streams live on Fox Sports Go. At Williams Nationals coming into Chase Field for 3 games starting on Monday. 1 out for David Peralta. A 2-out, 2-run double in the 5th. He's 1 for 4. Don't forget the first Throwback Thursday of the year is tomorrow, so come on out to Chase Field. That's going to be a lot of fun. As every Thursday home game this year is a Throwback Thursday. Use that on the hashtag with the Twitter and the whole thing, hashtag Throwback Thursday. Now, I do want to correct a note I had earlier. Gonzo's Throwback Thursday chat tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Look at it, it's actually sunny over there now. It's unbelievable. His Throwback Thursday chat tomorrow at 2. That is not a Twitter thing, BB. That's a Facebook.
Oh, okay. That changes everything.
Yeah, I screwed that up. I said it was Twitter. It's actually a Throwback Thursday chat on Facebook with Luis Gonzalez tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And that'll kind of get you geared up and ready for the ball game and the purple uniforms and the whole thing on Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, chance for the fans to dig into their own purple vaults, break out some of the purple and teal.
Addison Reed warming up now in the Diamondback bullpen. You and I have purple shirts all lined up, too.
Ready to roll.
We'll be prepared as Peralta strikes out. 2 down, and Goldie will hit. And keep in mind, Walt Weiss, the manager, has been ejected from the ball game. And so we've got a visit from the pitching coach, Foster. And he's going to change pitchers. This is right out of the Walt Weiss playbook.
I think this is coming from down the stairs.
2 outs in the 9th. D-backs lead at 5-1. New pitcher on for the Rockies. Back after this. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Goodwill. Find quirky, current, and crazy cool stuff. Well, I can no longer read any promos. The promo sheet just flew out the window. So our apologies if you're down there with Dinger. You can read some promos maybe. Scott Oberg is on. The right-hander face Goldie here with 2 outs in the 9th. He pitched in game 1 and threw only 3 pitches. So he's on here. The 4th Rockies pitcher of game 2. Now I hear some thunder. Right as Goldie steps up.
Seems appropriate.
You bet. He homered in the 4th, an RBI single in the 5th, 2 for 4. A roller right to first. Morneau will take it himself. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Addison Reed warming up. Diamondbacks going for the doubleheader sweep. They lead it 5-1. Sweep of the Rockies here. They won the first game 13-7, and they lead game 2 5-1. Addison Reed, a chance to get him some work, is on for the Diamondbacks. He'll work to the middle of the Rocky order. So Lewitzki, Arenado, Morneau, 3, 4, and 5 in the Colorado ninth.
Great job by Andrew Chafin today, coming in relief of Robbie Ray, who pitched an outstanding ball game. 6 innings of 1-run ball. He gave up only the 5 hits. Andrew Chafin comes in, goes 2 innings. Nothing, not a hit, 1 walk, stranded that man.
Tulo, 2 singles and a run scored here in the second game. He was hitless in game 1. This would be the 6th doubleheader sweep in D-backs history, and the first on the road since June of 2006 in Atlanta. Addison Reed's ahead of ball and 2 strikes. Dinger has made another appearance. I'm proud of Dinger. I think he's really shown a lot of growth, a lot of maturity, showing up here, trailing big time in these 2 games. We saw him in the 9th inning in game 1. Dinger, the front-running mascot, and he's really stepped up here today, Bob.
I believe it's in his contract that he has to be out here for the 9th inning regardless.
Usually the Rockies are behind, and you don't see Dinger anywhere. He's just nowhere to be seen. But I think he's really grown. And for a species that's extinct, that's really saying something. When purple dinosaurs roam the earth, dressed like Dippin' Dots.
It's a sponsoring agreement. Yeah.
It works out. Right down the middle for strike 3.
Not easy to strike out Troy Tulowitzki, especially looking. He usually comes off that bench swinging the bat, takes a fastball just inside of that outside corner for strike 3.
Nolan Arenado hit into a double play his last time up. He's 0 for 3. He doubled and scored in the first game, 1 for 5. So not a whole lot from Arenado here today. Up into that weird sky, right center field. Inciarte backs off. AJ calling for it. Quickly 2 down. You ever have anybody ask, hey Bob, what color is the sky in your world?
Yeah,
it's just about every color here.
A little bit of everything going right now above Coors Field.
Look at that, huh? What a shot.
Some blue skies off in the distance.
I want to thank all our camera people here that have been outside in all kinds of weather here today on a long day. And Fox Sports Arizona able to bring you both games of this doubleheader. So a great job by all our crew here today on a weird weather day at Coors Field. Justin Morneau doubled in the second. He's 1 for 3. Sheedy and Tim. Hey, Tim. You guys did a great job out there.
Outstanding.
In the air, right field. Ender Inciarte has it, and the Diamondbacks sweep the doubleheader here in Colorado. They win game 1.